Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm bringing you a huge library book haul. So since I moved to New Zealand I've been getting back into reading, and as you can see with my bookshelves I've been buying a lot of books. But a lot of these books I got on sale and in charity shops. So a lot of the books that are on my TBR, like the new releases, the ones that have been really popular on Booktube, aren't really ones that I've been able to get very cheap. So at the start of the month I decided that I wanted to get my library card. So I finally did it, and now I have this huge absolutely huge pile of books that I have taken out from the library. So without further ado, let's show you the books that I got. First book that I got is Legend by Marie Lu. I heard about this from Jenny. The story ain't over, her channel. It's one of her favorite series. It's been getting a lot of hype again recently because the fourth book I think is coming out, or has just come out. I'm not really sure, but I've started reading this today and it seems interesting so far. So it's about this boy who's a criminal, I think, and the government is looking for him, and a girl whose brother ends up getting murdered, and the criminal gets blamed for the murder, and then they meet up, and I'm not really sure what happens after they meet, and yeah. So I'm guessing that they finally figure out the questions that they're looking for, and yeah, so I only started, I'm on page 35. It's really interesting and I'm really liking it so far. The next book that I got is Ace of Shades. I've seen this on Emma Books channel. It's one of her favorite series. It's by Amanda Foody. I'm not really sure what it's about. So it says take a card and stake your soul. I've heard that it's supposed to be really interesting. So welcome to City of Sin, where casino families reign, gangs infest the streets, and secrets hide in every shadow. Ain Salta was raised as a proper young lady, and the old lady would willingly visit New Reigns, the so-called City of Sin. But when her mother goes missing, Ain must leave her finishing school and her reputation behind to follow her mother's trail to the city, where no one survives uncorrupted. Frightened and alone, Ain has only one lead, the name of Levi Glacier. Unfortunately, Levi is not the gentleman she expected. He is a street lord and conman. Levi is also only one payment away from cleaning up a rapidly unraveling investment scam, so he doesn't have time to investigate a woman leading a dangerous double life. Ain's offer of compensation, however, could be the solution to all his problems. Their search for clues leads them through glamorous casinos, illicit cabarets, and into the clutches of a ruthless mafia donna. As Ain unearths an impossible secret about her past, Levi's enemies catch up to them, ensnaring him in a vicious execution game where the players always lose. To save him, Ain will need to surrender herself to the city, and she'll need to play. That sounds so interesting. I know this is one of Emma's favorite books. The cover is gorgeous, and I was really excited to actually see it in my library, so I grabbed it as soon as I could. The next book that I got is Internment. I don't remember whose channel I've seen this on, but I know I've seen it on Booktube. It's by Samira Ahmed. Rebellions are built on hope. It's been 1 year since the census landed 17-year-old Layla Amin and her family on the registry. 5 months since the Attorney General ruled there was a precedent for relocation of citizens during times of war. And 1 month since the president declared Muslims are now a threat to America. Now Layla and her parents are suddenly taken from their home and forced into an internment camp for Muslim American citizens. With the help of newly made friends also trapped within the internment camp, her boyfriend on the outside, and an unexpected alliance, Layla begins a journey to fight for the freedom, leading a revolution against the internment camp's director and his guards. So wow, this sound I knew it was about Muslims being put in internment, and I feel like this is very relevant to what's actually happening in the world at the moment, especially in America. So I feel like this is going to be a really emotional story. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. The next book I got is The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. This cover just caught my eye, so I just picked it up. And I haven't really read many royalty books in a while, so I was really, really excited to pick this one. So one day a queen will rise. Brianna Colbert knows what it's like to be an outsider. Cast aside from her family in the northern kingdom of Mayvana, she's been raised in the south. While some are born with the talent for one of the 5 passions, art, music, dramatics, wit and knowledge, Brianna struggles to discover hers until she chooses knowledge, and with it comes a very unusual skill. When a dangerous plot against the northern kingdom comes to light, Brianna's passion proves invaluable to a rebellion she never even knew existed. Will she choose loyalty to her present or her past? For her queen is destined to rise and reclaim the northern throne, and Brianna might just be the one who holds the key to it all. So this kind of sounds really, really interesting. So it says here, an intricate tale of love, loyalty and revenge. So again, it doesn't really give a whole lot to what this story is going to be about, the whole plot, but it's a girl's struggle of figuring out who she is and how she fits into the society, and when she realizes that, she's the one to save the world. So it seems interesting, and the cover is stunning. The next book I have been looking at in the shops for so long, but it's been so expensive that I haven't been able to pick it up. But as soon as I got my library card, this caught my eye as I was walking down the aisles, and I knew I had to pick it up, and that is The Priory of an Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This is a huge book. I don't even know how many I can't even hold it properly. Like, look at this. This is so hard. It's so heavy. Oh my god. So it's over 800 pages. I am going to die. This has been sitting on my shelves, and I'm like, I know I need to read this before it's due, but it's so big. It's so heavy. I don't know what to do. Okay. So this is another queendom story. From what I've heard, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this story. So a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, or didn't enjoy it as much. I know a lot of people said for the first 200 pages it's really boring, which kind of sucks. But this follows a queen who, I think she needs to have an heir to the throne, to keep the promise or the prophecy of something, that so the dragons won't come and kill everyone. It's a high fantasy novel. It's a standalone, and it seems really, really interesting. So, a world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. The House of Berethnet has ruled. Oh my god. The House of Baronet has ruled Ains for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabaron IX must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction. But assassins are getting closer to her door. Eid Durian is an outsider at court, though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting. She is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Eid keeps a watchful eye on Sabaron, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the Dark Sea, Tan is trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos arising from their sleep. So this sounds really, really interesting. I know I've seen it everywhere on Book Twitter, Booktube, Bookstagram, and I'm really, really excited. This will be my first Samantha Shannon book, so I'm really excited to get into it. So then I was looking to get some books on J. Kristoff, and I requested Lifelike. It's a new. It was published. When was it published? I think it's only new. Published in 2018, so it's quite new. It's Romeo and Juliet meets Mad Max meets X-Men with a little bit of Blade Runner cheering from the sidelines. So it sounds really interesting. I'm not really sure what it's about. Let me just read it. On an island junkyard beneath a sky that glows with radiation, a deadly secret lies buried in the scrap. 17-year-old Eve isn't looking for trouble. She's too busy looking over her shoulder. The robot gladiator she spent months building has been reduced to a smoking wreck. She's on the local gangsters wanted list, and the only thing keeping her grandpa alive is the money she's just lost to the bookies. Worst of all, she discovers she can somehow destroy machines with the power of her mind, and a bunch of puritanical fanatics are building a coffin her size because of it. If she ever had a worse day, Eve can't remember it. The problem is, Eve has had a worse day, one that lingers on her nightmares and the cybernetic implant where her memories used to be. The discovery of a handsome android named Ezekiel, called a lifelike, because he's so close to resemble humans, will bring her world crashing down and make her question whether her life is a lie. With her best friend Lemon Fresh and her robotic sidekick Cricket in tow, Eve will trek across deserts of glass, battle unkillable robots, and infiltrate towering megacities to save the ones she loves, and finally learn the truth about the bloody secrets of her past. So this came in a couple of days after I got those first lot of books, and I ran to the library and picked it up, and I'm really excited to get into this one. I think this is going to be one of the next ones that I actually pick up. And this is actually blurbed by Laini Taylor, a book I know she's really popular across Booktube. Hey you, yes you, put this grimy, beautiful, devastating, hilarious, screaming, writhing, all-out, post-apocalyptic, girl buddy, road warrior, lost princess, techno thriller in your face and read it right now. It is every kind of badass. So this, from everything that I've heard about J. Kristoff, this, I think, encapsulates everything about him that I've heard. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. So then the next time I went to the library, I decided to pick up even more books. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. I have all of these books to read on top of these lots and lots of books from the library. So the next set of books that I got is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So I've seen this a lot across Booktube as well, so it was really interesting. I really wanted to pick it up. So this story is about somebody's going to be murdered at the ball tonight. It won't appear to be a murder and the murderer won't be caught. Rectify that injustice and I'll show you the way out. It is meant to be a celebration, but it ends in tragedy. But it ends in tragedy. As fireworks explode overhead, Evelyn Hardcastle, the young and beautiful daughter of the house, is killed. But Evelyn will not die, just once, until Aidan, one of the guests summons to Blackheath for the party, can solve her murder. The day will repeat itself over and over again, every time ending with the fateful pistol shot. The only way to break this cycle is to identify her killer. But each time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperate to stop him ever escaping Blackheathen. I've seen a lot of love for this book, so I'm really excited. When I saw it in the library, I just grabbed it straight away. It's quite a big one too for a thriller. And isn't this amazing? Like, it has this like beautiful kind of map of the house, I'm presuming, or the manor or whatever it is that this girl gets killed. So yeah, it's really exciting. The next book that I got is Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. So this is about a girl who is in prison for a murder or something, and she might be put to death, but she has to become the poison tester for the king. So she has to taste his food to see if he gets poisoned. So how much is your life worth? In the territory of Ixia, control is maintained through the code of behavior, forbidding the practice of magic. but danger lurks in dangerous places. In prison for murder, Yelena Sultana's punishment is death, unless she accepts the position of the commander of Ixia's food tester, and risks assassination from poison daily. In a world where magic equals death and freedom is for the lucky few, the battle for Yelena's life has just begun. So I've seen this again on Booktube, and I'm really intrigued to see what it's about, because you do hear of in the past about taste testers or poison testers and stuff, and it's really, really interesting. So I want to see how this fantasy magical kind of world brings us into it, and see what actually threatens Yelena. The next book that I've seen everywhere is Circe by Madeline Miller. So this is the story of Circe, and yeah, so it's the origin story of Circe from Greek mythology. So I'm really, really interested. I've always loved Greek mythology. I've loved Rick Riordan's writing. I love Percy Jackson. I love all of those. So I'm really, really excited to see what this is about. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe has neither the look nor the voice of divinity, and is scorned and rejected by her kin. Her isolation leads her to discovery of power forbidden to the gods, witchcraft. When love drives Circe to the cast of dark spell, vengeful Zeus banishes her to a remote island of Aiaia, I don't know, where she learns to harness her occult craft. But there is danger for a solitary woman in this world, as Circe's independence draws the wrath of men and gods alike. To protect what she holds dear, Circe must decide whether she belongs with the deities she is born from, or mortals she has come to love. Breathing life into an ancient world, Madeline Miller weaves an intoxicating tale of gods and heroes, magic monsters, survival and transformation. So I've heard a lot of things about how there's a lot of violence and hatred towards women within this world, which makes sense, because back in those times women were seen as a second to men. So I'm kind of anxious to go into this, because I know Circe's going to be treated bad and there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens to her. But again, I'm really, really interested to read it, because I love Greek mythology and I want to see how Madeline Miller retells this wonderful story. The next book that I found was Gilded Cage by Vic James. So this is another fantasy that it caught my eye, like the spine caught my eye, and I was like, what's this? And I just picked it up and said, I'll give it a go. I didn't really read the synopsis. So a modern Britain in age-old cruelty. Britain's magically skilled aristocratic compels all commoners to serve them for 10 years. Aristocracy. And now in the Hadley's turn. Abby Hadley is assigned to England's most ruthless noble family. The secret she uncovers could win her freedom or break her heart. Her brother Luke is enslaved in a brutal factory town where new friends' ideals might cost him everything. Then, while the elite vie for power, a young aristocrat plots to remake the world with his dark gifts. As Britain moves from anger to defiance, all three must take sides, and the consequences of their choices will change everything forever. So again, it doesn't really give a whole lot. So this is about powerful monarchy, I guess, and how these people have to band together to try and save everyone. So yeah, it was really intriguing. It caught my eye, and it's stunning. So I was like, yeah, gotta take it. I'm gonna read it. I don't know when, but I will read it. I think I'm going to probably renew a lot of these books if I don't get them right before I have to return them, which is gonna happen. So yeah, seems kind of mysterious, magical, and something that I'm really going to enjoy. I am nowhere near done with these books. Okay, next one. Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Everyone knows what this book is about. I've heard so much about this trilogy, and I'm really excited to get into it. V.E. Schwab is supposed to be an amazing writer, so I'm really interested to get into this one. I've been told that this is one of her best series so far, so yeah, I'm really excited. Next, I tried to read this book that I'm holding. I tried to read this book or listen to this book on audio, and I just could not get I was getting very confused. I couldn't get with the narrator, and I just basically DNF'd it, and I knew that I had to physically pick it up to read it. So that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this is about a girl who ends up going to this boarding school for people who have these huge passions. So the girl, what's her name? Stevie loves true crime, so she gets into the school for her true crime passion, and the other girls for engineering and everything else. And the history of the school is that the owner's daughter and wife were murdered, and it was never solved. The crime was never solved, so I'm guessing that Stevie has to try and figure out the mystery and figure it out. So this is a trilogy, so I'm really excited to get into it and try and I know I really wanted to read this, so picking up physically will hopefully get me to read it. What, kitten? What? Come here, kitten. Come here, kitten. Oh, you little fat kitten. Now the next one I picked up, it just caught my eye, the spine, and it just seems really interesting. It's called Beautiful Broken Girls by Kim Savage. So everyone wanted to touch us, including you. So remember the 7 places you touched me. That's where you'll find the truth. So that caught my eye, and I was like, let me read the synopsis, and I just picked it up. So remember the places you touched me. The parts of Myra Killow that Ben touched are etched on his soul. Palm, hair, chest, cheeks, lips, throat, heart. It was the last one that broke her. After her death, Myra sends Ben on a quest for notes that she left in the 7 places where they touched. Notes that explain why she and her sister Francesca drowned themselves in a quarry. How Ben interprets these notes has everything to do with the way he was touched by a bad coach years before. But the truth behind the girl's suicide is far more complicated, involving a dangerous infatuation and a deadly miracle and a crushing lie. So this sounds really interesting, so I'm presuming there's going to be content warnings for suicide, rape. So this is going to be a mystery, trying to figure out why this girl, Myra, and her sister ended up committing suicide. It sounds really interesting, so I was really intrigued to pick it up and give it a go. Now, the next book that I picked up was Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I know this is a retelling of Cinderella. I'm not really sure. I think Cinderella's a cyborg or something. I'm not really sure about what else the story is about, but I've seen it all across Booktube, all across Bookstagram, everywhere in the book community. So I'm really excited to get this because I really love retellings. And the next one, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I've seen this everywhere again. I think this is the illustrated edition. Yes, it's absolutely stunning. So this is about a boy who gets visited by a monster after his mum gets diagnosed with cancer, I think, and the monster tells him 3 stories, and in return the boy has to tell him stories or something. Sounds really interesting, and I've heard that it's very heartbreaking, very hard hitting. I think there's a lot of content warnings, so if you're going to read this, just make sure you look them up. Whew, okay, I'm on my last pile. So I requested another J. Kristoff book, and it finally came in when I was getting my hair done. I was so excited. That is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. For people who have not have been living under a rock. This is about Mia Crever, a girl who is sent to an assassin's school to avenge her father's murder and her mother's imprisonment. This story has been so hyped because Dark Dawn, the third book in this trilogy, has just come out and it's broken a lot of people's heart. So I really wanted to pick this up and I'm really, really excited to get into it. Few more books to go. We're almost there, guys. Oh my god, this video is so long. So the next book I got is Grave Mercy by Robin Fevers. Why do they keep doing this? They keep covering the name. By Robin LaFevers. Cool. So this is about another assassin, which I thought was cool, fitting the theme of Nevernight. So trained as an assassin by the god of death, Ismay is sent to the court of Brittany, where she finds herself underprepared, not only for the games of intrigue and treason, but for the impossible choices she must make, for how she can deliver death's vengeance upon a target who, against her will, has stolen her heart. What? So she's an assassin, she ends up falling in love with the guy she has to assassinate. It's gonna be interesting. More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer. I've seen Bridget Kemmerer has written A Curse of Dark and Lonely, which I have on hold that I should be coming in soon. So I just picked this up because I recognize the author's name. So every day Red struggles with the memories and demons of the time before he was adopted. He always managed just fine until a letter from his birth father brings hellfire, fear and danger back into his life. Emma escapes her life in an online game she built herself. Virtual reality is so much easier than real life. But then another player joins the game and suddenly ultraviolet threats start to stream in. When Rev and Emma meet, they are fighting a darkness they can't put into words, but somehow they hear each other and together they might be able to find a way out. So this sounds really, really interesting. It kind of reminds me of Eliza and Her Monsters, with the whole they rather be online than in person. And here it says lucky Francers and they found each other, which I find really cute. So I think this is going to be a romance with some thriller aspects. I'm not really sure what I'm expecting, but I'm sure it's going to be good. The next book I got is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. Again, seen this everywhere. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I know it has bisexual rep inside, so I was really looking forward to getting into it. So 3 years ago, Tanner Scott's family relocated from California to Utah, a move that nudged the bisexual teen temporarily back into the closet. Now, with one semester of high school to go and no obstacles between him and out-of-state college freedom, Tanner plans to coast through his remaining classes and clear out of Utah. But when his friend Autumn dares him to take the Provost's highly prestigious seminar, where honor roll students diligently toil to draft a book in a semester, Tanner can't resist defying his better judgment and having a go, if only to prove to Autumn how silly the whole thing is. Writing a book in 4 months sounds simple. 4 months is an eternity. It turns out Tanner is only partly right. 4 months is a long time. After all, it only takes 1 second for him to notice Sebastian Brother, the Mormon prodigy who sold his own seminar novel the year before and who now mentors the class. And it takes less than a month for Tanner to fall completely in love with him. Yeah, so there's Mormon religion, so this is going to be a religious guy and a bisexual guy, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of struggle and conflict with that. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes. And this again will be my first Christina Lauren book, and by these two authors, so I'm really looking forward to it. Whew. The next book that I got is Duels and Deception by Cindy Anstey. So before I picked up this one, I picked up another book written by this author that I have here. So Miss Lydia Whitfield Hera. Can I speak today? Nah, I can't. Heiress to the family fortune has her future entirely planned out. She will run the family estate until she marries the man of her late father's choosing, and then she will spend the rest of her days as a devoted wife. Confident in those arrangements, Lydia has tasked her young law clerk, Mr. Robert Newman, to begin drawing up the marriage contracts. Everything is going to plan, until the day Lydia is kidnapped, and Robert along with her. Someone is after her fortune and won't hesitate to destroy her reputation to get it. With Robert's help, Lydia strives to keep her family's good name unsullied, and expose whoever is behind this devious plot. But as their investigation delves deeper and their affections for each other grow, Lydia starts to wonder whether her carefully planned future is what she truly wants. So this sounds really, really interesting. So this girl, all ready to have an arranged marriage, do it all, she gets kidnapped, and then she falls in love with, I'm presuming she falls in love with the guy who's been by her side this whole time. So I think this is going to be really cool, really interesting, mysterious, and kind of thrillery, all set back in whatever century this is going to be set back in. And the second book that I got from this author is The Hummingbird Dagger. So this one was really interesting. This is about a girl, 1833, a near fatal carriage accident has deposited an unconscious young woman on the doorstep of Hardwick Manor and into the care of young Lord James Ellerby. And when she finally awakens, she has no memory of who she is and where she came from. Beth, as she calls herself, has no identity. The only clue to her circumstances is a recurring nightmare of a hummingbird, blood dripping from its steel beak. With the help of James and his sister Caroline, Beth tries to solve the mystery of her own identity and the appalling events that brought her to their door. But nothing can prepare her for the escalating dangers that threaten her and the Ellerby clan. From the hazardous cliffs of Dorset to the hostile streets of London, Beth will fight to reclaim her past, hunted by a secretive foe with murderous intentions. So I love kind of stories that are set back in the 1800s because it's so interesting just seeing the way that they lived back then. And this is going to be a murder mystery and this woman trying to figure out who she is and why she was in a carriage crash and why someone is trying to kill her, which I feel like is going to be really, really interesting, and I'm so excited to pick this one up. Next book. Ugh, 4 more to go. Okay, so The Dead Girl Society by Michelle Cries. So I think this is about a girl who is ill. She ends up getting a letter inviting her to the Dead Girl Society, or some society that's really popular. She joins, and then she ends up in this situation where she can't get out. So you are cordially invited to participate in a game of thrills and dares. Tell no one and come alone if you dare. Hope is sick of everyone treating her like she's breakable. Sure, she has cystic fibrosis, basically really bad lungs. But she's tired of being babied by her mum and her overprotective best friend Ethan, not to mention worrying about paying for her expensive medication and how she's going to afford college. And she's bored with life in her rundown New Orleans suburb. When an invitation arrives from a mysterious group that calls itself the Society, Hope jumps at the chance for some excitement. This could be her ticket out, and all she has to do is complete a few dares and she just might win some real money. But the society isn't all it seems, and soon Hope finds that playing the game isn't choice, it's a requirement. So yeah, she ends up in this situation where she can't get out, and I'm presuming it gets dark and twisted. So I'm looking forward to this one. The next one, #murder trending. Kill, post, repeat. Ooh, look at these. Like blood spatter. It's really interesting. So, so this is somewhere in the near future where this girl gets sent to Alcatraz for murdering her stepsister, but I think she's innocent. So, welcome to the new future, where good and honest citizens can enjoy watching the executions of society's most infamous convicted felons streaming live in the Postman app from the suburbanized prison island Alcatraz 2.0. When 17-year-old Dee Guerrera wakes up in a haze. Lying on the ground of a dimly lit warehouse, she realizes she's about to be the next victim of the app. Knowing hardened criminals are getting a taste of their own medicine in this place is one thing, but Dee refuses to roll over and die for a heinous crime she didn't commit. Can Dee and her newly formed posse, the Death Row Breakfast Club, prove she's innocent before she ends up wrongfully murdered from the world to see? And will the Postman's cast of executioners kill them off one by one? That sounds really cool. So yeah, another one that's kind of end up in a situation where you're stuck. She gets convicted for her stepsister's murder, and she ends up in Alcatraz, where millions of people get to watch her die. Let's see how this one goes. Oh, two more. Next one, Nocturna by Maya Montaigne. This is another magical fantasy. Moria Paradise told us magic for all. To Finian Foy, magic is two things: a knife to hold under the throat of anyone who crosses her, and a disguise she shrugs on as easily as others pull on cloaks. As a talented face shifter, it's been years since Finn has seen her own face, and that's exactly how she likes it. But when she gets caught by a powerful mobster, she's forced into an impossible mission: steal a legendary treasure from Castellan's royal palace, or be stripped of her magic forever. To Prince Alfair, magic is an escape, but one that comes with a price. First in line for the throne after the disappearance of his older brother, Alfie is desperate to find him and bring him home, even if that means dabbling in forbidden magic. And when Finn and Alfie's fates collide, they realise magic can be other things too, and the type they accidentally release into the world is something neither of them expects or understands. It's hungry. This cover is absolutely amazing. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I have seen this across Booktube, and I was really excited to see it in my library, so I picked it up straight away. And the next one, Sweet Pea by CJ Skews. So this is a thriller that I'm actually really excited to get into. So it says the last person who called me Sweet Pea ended up dead. So I'm guessing murderous female. Rhiannon is your average girl next door, settled with her boyfriend and little dog, but she's got a killer secret. Although her childhood was haunted by a famous crime, Rhiannon's life is normal now. By her day job as an editorial assistant is demeaning and unsatisfying. By evening, she dutifully listens to her friends' plans for marriage and babies while secretly making a kill list. From the man on the supermarket checkout who always mishandles her apples, to the driver who cuts her off on her way to work, Rhiannon's ready to get her revenge. Because the girl everyone overlooks might just be able to get away with murder. Doesn't that sound amazing? I know there's a second book out, and I've seen the second book and I was like, this is interesting. And then I realised that it was the second book, so I ran and got this one. So yeah, murderous the lady who's been making a kill list of people who have offended her, and it's gonna be interesting. So, I'm tired now. I'm tired. That was a lot of books, and I have no idea how I'm going to read them all, but I wanted to show you all the amazing books that my library had, and you should check out your library if you're looking for some pretty good books too, because you never know what you might be able to find. So I hope you liked this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz if you liked this video, and please hit the bell button if you would like to see more videos from me.